Okay, we're in Microsoft Excel and we need to create an if with multiple conditions. I've got my students who've taken maths, science and English exams. In order to get an overall pass, they need to have achieved a mark of at least 50 in each of those subjects. Now the first method we're going to use is with if and equals if. And I'm using and because I've got three conditions that need to be met, and returns true if all conditions are met. So my first test would be, is the maths mark greater than or equal to the pass mark? Now, because I'm going to have to copy this formula down, I need to lock my reference to B2, and I used F4 on my keyboard to do that. Then my second test would be, is the science mark greater than or equal to the pass mark? And again, I need to lock that reference to B2. And then the third test is, obviously, is the English mark greater than or equal to the pass mark? And I lock that as well. And then I close the bracket for and, comma, and then I'm on to my value of true. So my value of true for this would be pass, comma, and then my value if false would be fail. So if I press enter, I then have to copy this down and I get my overall pass and fail results. Now, if you've been using Excel 365 for a while, you'll know that in a lot of situations, you can create formulas that automatically spill, so we don't need to copy the formula down the column. Now, unfortunately, and doesn't spill. So how can we get around that? I'm going to look at two different ways we could get this calculation to automatically spill. Now, the first method is where we multiply multiple tests. So we're not going to use and at all. We're going to create three separate tests. Now, each of the tests need to be in their own brackets. So I would say, are all these maths values greater than or equal to the pass mark? Now, I'm not going to need to lock B2 because I'm not going to need to copy this formula. It's going to spill. Then I multiply that by the next test. So I'm going to say, are the science results greater than or equal to the pass mark? Close the bracket. Then I multiply again, open a bracket, and then I say, are the English marks greater than or equal to the pass mark? So I've got my three tests. Now what's going to happen here is the trues and the falses are going to be converted to ones and zeros. So for example, for Alice, she's got three trues. So that will be 1 times 1 times 1, which gives you 1. And 1 is equivalent to true, so therefore she gets a pass. With Bob, he gets a 0, 1, and a 0. Now I can see those ones and zeros by selecting these tests and looking at the screen tip 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, which is basically pass, fail, pass, fail, pass. So then I state my value if true, and then my value if false. Now if I press enter, that is automatically going to spill down that column. Now there is, I think, a more efficient way of doing this, and that's using by row. Now this is going to allow us to spill the AND function. You can see here by row applies a lambda function to each row and returns an array of the results. So what I need to do is specify my array, which is going to be all of those results, comma, and then I use lambda. Now I need to create a parameter or a name for the results in this array. So because these are marks, I'll say the parameter is m, comma, and then I can write my calculation. So I'm going to say if and, open bracket, m is greater than or equal to B2, close bracket. Then I'm going to say pass for my value if true, and then fail for my value if false. So that closes the bracket for if, then for lambda, and then for BYROW.